Hello everyone, welcome to another second channel ramble, and today is going to be a little bit of a different one. I'm going to be talking about the balance between this channel and my main channel, and how I feel about that, and I guess which channel I like better is what I'm going to title the video. So for those who don't know, I made the second channel only a few years ago, and the main idea was for it to just kind of be a VOD channel where I dump my, stream recordings, which definitely is part of what the channel is, and that's why it's called the ProChara VOD dump. But at this point, it's become a little more than that. We've amassed around 31,000 subscribers, which is a lot for a second channel. And I've instead considered this channel to kind of have one main theme. No major editing. Now, there are small exceptions to that, and that's compilations. There is a section on this channel that is just a compilation of a series of main channel videos that kind of go together. I've done quite a few of those, though they're not really uploaded very much recently, since most of the main series I have for Splatoon 3 are done at this point and compiled. There are a few things I need to get to down the road, such as React content. But those I'm just, are those really done yet? At this point, I don't know. It's hard to tell when Splatoon 3 is done at this point, so I guess I kind of have to wait for that. The biggest one is probably combining all of the patch overviews, which will also include corrections to mistakes or things I got wrong at the time, so that there is both my analysis but also me going over the notes of every single patch change ever in Splatoon 3. But of course, that's another one we have to wait for. Besides that little bit of information, second channel rambles like this one have become commonplace here, where I go around and shoot things randomly in the training room, or put on a replay mode and just kind of talk about things randomly. I even did this all the way back in Splatoon 2 for a little bit. These have become quite common. Sometimes there will be competitive match highlights, full tournament VODs. Sometimes I've done casts. You get the idea. There is kind of a large variety of stuff here, including more variety content as of recent, and that's something I plan to do somewhat consistently, though. Splatoon should always be at least every other upload at the time being. And it's grown quite a bit. I do really enjoy this format, not having much of any script and just talking about a topic, and not having to worry about the whole production cycle is nice. It's also fun to be able to put out videos on, the day after I make them. A lot of main channel videos can be literal months before they go into the public from after I script them. In fact, some of the Splatoon 2 meta history will probably be about a year old because I did go through and make all of the scripts and research for that in a matter of weeks just because I felt like grinding it all out. So, there's a lot of stuff that's nice about that. But of course, the scope of the second channel is not very large. I will not have an insanely well-edited video or big project like the Moonlight one or the Stages videos. I will not be able to work with other people and have higher quality production. And of course, things will be a lot less polished and just overall a lot more improper and informal, and I might go off script here by comparison because I don't have anything written down, And that's also something that can totally happen from time to time. So that's a bit fair. One note that I've actually had because of this is I've been told by a few people in my earlier videos to try and record these in a way to where it's easy to tell what's going on, even if someone isn't looking at the screen. So if this is you and you're using this as background footage, I'm calling you out and saying thanks, because I don't really care. But it turns out it seems like this is quite common. A lot of people seem to enjoy having this be in the background while they do other things, and I didn't really know at first that this would be what this kind of thing is for, but hey, I'm down for that. I'm not immune from the propaganda of putting a video in the background while I'm focusing on something else. I do it too. I understand. So hey, I'm down to be able to fulfill one of that, and considering it's, a video where I'm kind of just jumping around the training room, I'm totally fine with that. So I've actually tried to talk about things in a way to where it can be understood without looking at the screen too much, instead of going, this here weapon all the time. Not something I do flawlessly, but it's there. Another thing that I think is worth talking about is, well, competitive topics. The main channel does cover competitive topics, but it's definitely done in a more accessible way, or it tends to cover topics that are less competitive. A lot of people tend to like the more competitive-focused rambles here, where I can go on a bit of a tirade about, Blaster being broken, or talk about a tier list a little bit more rambly. Some exceptions might apply. I did do that 8.0 tier list, which was pretty rambly. But, stuff like this where I can just sit down and talk about a topic for a lot longer of a time, or talk about things that really wouldn't fit the main channel, because the topic is just too small in scale. That kind of thing is also really nice. So there's clearly a lot of differences. The main channel video has the projects that I'm happy with, and, well, let's just say I've archived a lot of main channel videos to look back on, and very few second channel videos. But the second channel is easier to manage. It's nice to be able to tackle something mostly on my own, and I've also become fond of the thumbnails being intentionally kind of crappy because I'm just making them in the vaguest editing software. Yeah. There's some genuinely really funny ones, like that chimney thumbnail from back when that leak happened. That was interesting to think about. But I mean, this answer's going to be a bit of a cop-out after all this time, but I don't know if I really have a favorite channel. But I do like both for very different reasons. The approaches and style of content I do for both are very different, and both of them are important to my overall growth and revenue sources. This channel might not make as much as the main channel, but, well, it's just me making the videos on here. So it definitely has a lot less expenses. The uploads are a lot more, but they're easier to make. And I do enjoy a lot of the freedom that comes with it. That said, there's something about having my main channel be organized with things that are quality, production, and going all out on certain projects that makes me really happy to do that kind of deal. So I'd say there's also definitely a mix of stuff where, hey, I just prefer doing it fully all out on the main channel video. So, you know, it kind of varies. I guess it depends on what time and what videos I'm doing. There's definitely a few months, especially as content has run out, where I've been less passionate about the main channel. I've actually scripted extremely little new things for the main channel. We are a little carried by that meta history series, if it wasn't obvious by now. And ultimately, I haven't had a whole lot of things to talk about outside of the few content updates that we get, which has made scripting less fun. Gameplay-wise, things are alright, but it really depends on how well a stream goes and if there's enough moments for Moonlight in the background. Especially since me stepping down and retiring a little bit more, you know, it's been a little bit harder to do gameplay highlights. That said, I've also dropped down the upload schedule on the channel to once a week and twice when news updates is happening, which means there's definitely a lot less stress on each individual upload, so that plays a factor. Being able to work with other people for main channel videos is also a plus. I know there are some creators who prefer to do things on their own, and there are definitely some things that I like to edit by myself. But I really don't mind the more collaborative process, and being able to work with so many amazing people has been part of what's kept content creation motivating to me, honestly. And that's something that I don't really have with this channel when it is just me. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about the differences between them. I hope this subject ended up being kind of interesting. I know it's a little bit different than the usual content, but I'm curious to hear which channel you prefer. Given this is a video on the second channel, it might have a little bit of a skewed outcome here. But yeah, I wanted to talk about it a little bit because I've had these going for a while, and I really enjoy the dynamic between both of them. It's been very fun. Alright, see y'all.